That's what dreams are made of. Hold it in your hand, standing on a shipwreck, finding peace of land. Oh, that's what dreams are made of. Here is where you dwell, walking in the desert, catch a glimpse of wealth. And in the line of expectations of what the future holds, to look for all that glitters in your search for gold. But we're ordinary people with just ordinary lives, the things we need to live and to survive. A summer wind, a peace of mind, the birds that sing, the undefined, the ground beneath, the stars above, the air I breathe, someone to love. That's what dreams are made of, a guidance in the night, stumble in the darkness, finally see the light. Oh, that's what dreams are made of, destined to be shared. Someone who will listen, someone to dry your tears. And in the line of expectations of what the future holds, to look for all that glitters in your search for gold. But we're ordinary people with just ordinary lives, the things we need to live and to survive. A summer wind, a peace of mind, the birds that sing, the undefined, the ground beneath, the stars above, the air I breathe, someone to love.
Unity of New York.
Ain't a person here who is anything short of a superstar. God is in us all, we got the power to accomplish anything. So keep on keeping on, never give up reaching for all of your dreams. I'ma make it by any means, I got a pocket full of dreams, baby, I'm from New York. Concrete jungle where dreams are made of, there's nothing you can't do. Unity, New York. These people make you feel brand new, the speakers inspire you. Unity, New York, New York, New York. One hand in the air for the big city, streetlights, big dreams, all looking pretty. No place in the world that can compare. Put your hands up in the air, everybody say yeah, 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 yeah. In New York, concrete jungle where dreams are made of, there's nothing you can't do. Unity, New York. These people make you feel brand new, the music inspires you. Unity, New York.
Oh, good morning. What a great day, huh? Good morning to Unity of New York. My name is Sarah Dacey Charles, and I am the co-director of the Prayer Chaplain program here at Unity of New York. And I just want to welcome you and say happy Sunday. If this is your first time, welcome home. I'm here to read the daily word and talk to you about the stabilizing force of prayer. It is the bedrock of unity. So let's get to it. Okay, today's daily word from the Daily Word, you can get it yourself at dailyword.com. But today's daily word is world peace, June 13th. Peace shared between people spreads throughout the world. I contribute to world peace when I join in spirit with all people who dedicate themselves to expressing divine love, united in the belief that God is within everyone. I affirm the divinity of humankind and honor each person as a unique expression of God. I recognize and realize any unkind thoughts or feelings toward any person or group of people. I respect all others and seek to learn more about customs and beliefs that are unfamiliar to me as I grow in a spirit of kinship. I believe a warm, friendly attitude communicates my intentions as effectively as my words. I smile easily and extend myself to others in a spirit of friendship. I remain mindful that as peace flowers between individuals, peace grows in the world. Today's Bible quote is from Micah 4:3. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. World peace. All right, what is this thing called prayer we speak of? Well, you can find out. How do you pray with somebody? Well, call 1-800-NOW-PRAY, and what you'll be calling is Silent Unity. It's a prayer service that they keep the fires burning 24/7, which means you can call that number 1-800-669-7729 anytime, day or night, and speak to a real person about anything, and they will pray with you about a challenge or a blessing. So that's really awesome. Also, please download the You Pray app and use it. It's a great resource for affirmations, for listening to guided meditations, and for getting the ability to email a prayer request, and you will receive a prayer response through email the very next day. It's awesome. Also, please join us. Consider yourself invited. Yes, you are invited every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 9:45 a.m. sharp. That's Eastern Standard Time. So, but come in, do the calculations, and come in from another place in the country or the world. And what we do at 9:45 a.m. sharp is we pray together. We listen to a global healing prayer call. And what that means is we pray for ourselves, one another, and for the world for healing and social justice. So please join us by calling this conference call. It's not a Zoom. 1-425-436-6311. Then you'll hear this thing and it'll say press in the access code, which is 309109 pound. And you tell us who you are, and then you mute your phone and we pray together. And it's really special. And I really hope you join us this coming Tuesday and Thursday. All right. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the service. Bye now.
Use me, oh God, and for you, and here I will lie as you show me all that I must do. Come at my hands, what must they do? Command my life, it's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new. And God needs us to shine His light as me and you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I will lie as you show me all that I must do. And God needs us to shine His light. God needs us to shine His light. God needs us to shine His light as me and you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I will lie as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do.
I made it. I made it. I had to go get something because that was so wonderful to see Spiritus, to see everybody. I love the keeping the Brady Bunch thing going of looking around all the squares, even though they were kind of cattywampus. And when I thought of that, I had to go get my mask that somebody got for me. A mask that said cattywampus. I am not even, I didn't even order it special. I thought I owned that word, but I do not. I share it. I share everything. And so thank you, Spiritus. Thank you, Sarah, as always, for starting us off in daily word prayer, getting us grounded. You are absolutely right. Prayer is the bedrock of Unity of New York. And again, today, completely unplanned, we match. Who says that we aren't one? So, good morning, Unity family. We are together again. Hallelujah. Got my Barbara Raven prayer beads. And I am Reverend Britt Hall. I am the senior minister at Unity of New York. And I am so proud to say that. And even if it is your first time with us today, I always like to say welcome home. Welcome home. Welcome back home. Let us know where you're coming in from this morning in the comments section right here on Facebook Live. We continue to really hold fast and use our vision at Unity of New York to as a guide, as a compass in all that we decide. Because our mission, as you can see, is to provide a spiritual home where community may gather and know that all good comes from God within. And we continue to hold a vision of a world consciously unified in love that leaves no one out and invites everyone in. And I hope that you'll take those words to heart, to really join in and holding to that vision of a world unified in love, because we cannot hold anyone in darkness and hold ourselves in love. We are one. And there are wonderful things going on here at Unity of New York. And it's always so much fun to show you the things that have been created to share with you, with us. Here's what's happening.
Unity of New York continues to offer classes, groups, and workshops virtually on Zoom. For registration information, Zoom links, and any questions, simply email info@unityofnewyork.org. Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m., join us for The Quest, a pre-service spiritual discussion group led by Unity teachers. We are currently discussing the book, My Grandmother's Hands, Racialized Trauma and the Pathway to Mending Our Hearts and Bodies by Resmaa Menakem. This book can be found on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. Tuesday mornings at 11 a.m., Staff Minister Reverend Sean Moniger hosts his weekly Unity Classics Spiritual Reading and Discussion Group. Our current book is Effectual Prayer by Francis W. Folks, beginning June 15th. Wednesdays at 10 a.m., join Senior Minister Reverend Britt Hall and co-host John Canary for the Community Connections Coffee Hour, a casual get-together. Hang out and check in with like-minded friends, old and new, in your Unity of New York community. Everyone is welcome to join at any time. Wednesday evenings, twice a month, Reverend Chris DiGiorgio hosts Unity Pride Gay Men's Spirituality Group at 7 p.m. To get the Zoom link for this group, just email chrisdigiorgio1@gmail.com. We're not quite finished just yet wearing our face mask. You're in luck. Unity of New York face masks are still available for purchase. $10 per mask, includes shipping and handling, and supports your spiritual home as you share your pride in Unity of New York. Place your order today at info@unityofnewyork.org. If you're not already receiving our weekly newsletter, it's the best way to stay up to date on what's happening at Unity of New York, and it's easy to sign up. Just go to our website, unityofnewyork.org, scroll down to the bottom right of the homepage, and subscribe. Unity of New York is here for you. The best way to reach us is by emailing info@unityofnewyork.org. One of us will get back to you as soon as we are able. Everyone, thanks, and have a great week.
office administrator, Charlena Pearson. I think that I will have a great week just because of the tone of your beautiful voice. Thank you. So that's what's happening during the week when it's not the 11 o'clock Sunday morning hour here at Unity of New York. But that's not all. We have opportunities coming up beginning this week to see each other live and in person. I have been seeing a few friends in the past week in different places. And maybe you'll join some of these opportunities to see friends, starting with this Wednesday evening at Bryant Park. Unity Pride will be getting together. This is not a discussion group. It is simply a gathering in Bryant Park of the Gay Men Spirituality Group. For information, simply email Chris, Reverend Chris DeGiorgio, and there's his Gmail email address right there on the screen. And Bryant Park must be the place to be, because on Friday at lunchtime, I believe that is it at noon? Is it at 1? It's at 1 p.m. in Bryant Park. USA, Unity Senior Adventures, is going to be celebrating the 5th anniversary of USA. So for that, the email address is right there, Unity USA, and we NYC live television at gmail.com. You can see it. I don't need to read it to you. And the big one coming next Sunday is our gathering. First big opportunity to get together on Governor's Island. And here are our friends Steve and Lynn to tell us about it one more time.
Hey everybody, I'm Steve Hauk.
And I'm Lynn Manuel.
Lynn, do you remember Connection Circles?
I sure do. That happened before quarantine.
It sure did. The summer of 2019, we were going to go to Governor's Island.
I know, and it was so hot, we had to cancel.
We had to cancel. Well, it's beautiful now. Shall we go?
I think so. Do you have a date?
I'm thinking June 20th.
Oh, that's so awesome. You know, all you have to do is go online and buy $3 tickets to the ferry downtown. You can just go round trip.
Oh, and so we'll all meet there.
About 1:45.
1:45, June 20th. The ferry's at 2 o'clock. So there's going to be a little more information in the newsletter
You're
coming out.
You're going to get to email or call me or text me.
So we can all get together and know where we are and go to Governor's Island for some fun and fellowship.
And they have food.
Food.
They have food there, yeah.
The 3 F's, very important. Okay, so watch the newsletter for the details. We'll be back to let you know more, but save the date.
We can't wait to see you live.
We can't wait to see everyone live.
June 20th.
June 20th. Yay, Unity.
You guys aren't excited, are you? Oh my goodness. Look who
I wasn't
popped in.
supposed to be here right now, but here I am.
No, but you're here. But you're here.
I am here.
How you doing, Leo?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody next week.
Oh my God.
I can't
Me too.
wait. I've been
It's
doing
gonna
all
be-
this stuff
oh my-
and putting all this love and all this stuff out into the camera and out into the ethers, and I just haven't got to see anybody, hug anybody. So I'm really glad that things are starting to calm down with this
Leo,
pandemic stuff.
I've got to tell you that last night I went, yesterday I went for a walk in the park. I took some books with me and used my imagination, thinking about imagination for today. And I said, I'm hungry. And I stopped at a new restaurant. Well, I don't know if it's new. Yeah, but it was new for me. And I ran into another Unity friend last night, and I ran into Monique in the hood.
Monique.
Oh my God. And it was almost overwhelming because I hadn't seen her since March 8th, 2020, before all of this happened. And we live in the same neighborhood. But I guess I'm mentioning that because it was so overwhelming. I'm bracing. I can only imagine what it's going to be like to see so many people in the community next Sunday. I hope you're able to make it, everyone. You already know that Steve and Lynn are going to be there. Leo is going to be there. I'm going to be there.
I might have my camera shooting everything so that I can put something together later. But yeah,
That's
I'm
a
gonna
great,
be there. I'm going to be there. It's a good idea.
great idea.
Mhm.
And by the way, I loved the countdown disco video.
Thank you.
Was that? I'm gonna guess here. Let me guess. Was that in honor of Pride Month?
Yes, that was my nod to Pride Month. Last week I did a little, I forget what I did, but all month I'm going to do a little something. And then the song was kind of about imagination, but because today's imagination, my imagination ran wild
Well-
this week, but I digress. So,
Well, we're gonna talk about that today because our imaginations can run wild, and we're gonna discuss it. But right now, I just want to shout out and give kudos and thank you again for everything that you keep creating. You are the belle of the ball. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, Leo!" It's like, yeah, I know. I love what we get to do together. I can't say that too much. So if you're tired of hearing me say that, I'm going to probably keep saying it because it's really amazing what we get to do. And Leo, I know we have just a couple of other things that we haven't said yet today,
do.
and one of them is, do you have the Tsunami of Grief card?
I
These things that
do.
Leo creates are called cards. And Martha Krieg, this is not a Unity of New York sponsored event, but our dear, dear friend Martha Krieg is offering a Tsunami of Grief class for 5 weeks. There are 3 more you can drop in at any time. Just go to marthakrieg.com. I know that a number of people in our community are participating in that class on Tuesday evenings because I've been there, and it's really good stuff. So if you want a little lift, a little jolt of compassion and tools for helping to navigate grief that you may be walking through, and I know many of us are right now, just drop in anytime. 3 of those classes are left. And there's a new announcement. Last Sunday was the final Sunday of the Dream Big Mastermind group, the master group with our other dear friend, Reverend Cynthia Alice Anderson. And in that final session, everyone asked if she would be willing to continue for another 5 weeks. And we talked about it, and I said, absolutely, let's go for it. So starting June 27th, 2 Sundays from now, the next 5 weeks are going to begin. It is limited to 9 people. 6 are returning, so that leaves 3 spots available. So email info@unityofnewyork.org if you are interested in that, because it is on a first serve basis. Excuse me, dry mouth. I'm gonna blame that on Monique. Last night we shared a glass of wine or 2. So obviously there is so much happening here at the Unity of New York. I'm so grateful there are so many opportunities to bring us together, but here we are today. We are here this morning, and it is time for our next power in the Igniting Our 12 Powers series. It's an opportunity to see another beautiful Leo video creation. Leo? Leo, you are so creative. I always feel like I'm about to be on the wonderful world of Disney. And I know a lot of you remember that. I know our demographic. So I know a lot of you probably enjoyed that countdown disco music and remember the wonderful world of Disney. Speaking of imagination, on Sunday nights. So back in January, I started the year of igniting our 12 powers. Not just to know what they are, but to take another step in understanding how to use these powers, these divine qualities that we possess, as spiritual tools. Unity's co-founder, Charles Fillmore, he studied many faiths, and he was particularly drawn to the teachings of Jesus. And that is the primary foundation for Unity's teachings, are the true and real original teachings of Jesus. And as he was studying the teachings of Jesus, he realized as he was really studying the 12 disciples that followed Jesus, that each of them was representing a divine quality. And as he studied, he realized that all of these qualities, these 12 qualities that the 12 disciples represent, are inherent in us. And as we've studied these qualities, these divine gifts, these powers we possess this year, we know that these qualities are spiritual. They are neither positive or negative. They can be used for good, or they can be used for evil. They're neutral. It's what we do with them. As we already embody them. So as we were just reminded in the beautiful, wonderful World of Disney video by Leo, we've already covered faith, strength, wisdom, love, power, and this month, this power is probably pretty much my favorite.
Come with me, and we'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in a world of my creation. What you'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world, there's nothing to it. There is no life I know that compares with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be.
Thank you, Leo. That was magical. And it's so appropriate to see the clouds and that's to me is where imagination begins as a child, thinking of looking up at the clouds, especially in the summer, lying down on the grass, looking at the clouds, seeing different things. The color of imagination is light blue, like the sky. And whenever I think of the power of imagination, I think of that song, Pure Imagination. And oddly enough, or perhaps not at all, I also always think of John Canary. And I mentioned in my newsletter note on Friday that I had a surprise this morning, a surprise guest. And the man of imagination himself is here.
That's wonderful.
I love it. How was that for a segue for a spontaneous introduction?
Well, I love that. I mean, I thought maybe I was a figment of your imagination, but no, I'm
You are-
really here.
Yeah, you're not just a figment, but oh my gosh, it's so cool because people have gotten to see me so much in the last year and 3 months. And here you are coming in all the way from the Upper West Side.
Delighted to be here. You know, you mentioned Governor's Island, and I'm really looking forward to that next Sunday. And you do know that one of the reasons I'm so looking forward to it is that Paula and I were married on Governor's Island 36 years ago. And we've only been back one time, and so she's coming with me. And you'll see that Paula was not a figment of my imagination. She does exist.
I am really glad. I do know that you were married there, and I am so excited to meet Paula because, as I've told you before, I have often felt like she's kind of been the offstage character because we've never met. She's like Maris on Frasier. Niall's wife never made an appearance, but it's like she was a character on the show. So I can't wait.
We certainly
and
exist.
thank you.
Yeah,
But thank you for saying yes to being here today, to coming in and seeing what this is like. I was wondering, as we were getting ready, we have to do all the camera testing and make sure everything's kind of in place in the Leo studio. And I was wondering, does this at all take you back to your All My Children days through the TV thing?
Yeah. Yes, there we had teleprompters, which I never used. I was afraid to use them, and most actors didn't. But yes, and it really takes me back to the days when I did industrials. I made tons of filmed industrials, both scripted and acted out and straight on camera narration, So it does take you back to that. And Leo was wonderful yesterday. He had me all ready to do this and how it all works within about 6 minutes. He's got it. It's so streamlined now. It's wonderful. Just wonderful.
We have learned a lot to figure out how to do this. And and you're a seasoned actor and savvy pontificator and ruminator. So and that's one of the reasons. So really, I wasn't kidding or exaggerating when I say that as we go through these 12 powers this year, you have often said and shared with me that your favorite power is imagination. And so my imagination just a couple of days ago gave me the idea to say, if John's willing to join this morning, I would love to just chat about your love of the power of imagination and see what insights you might have to share with people. I'm curious, first of all, why for you imagination is your favorite of the 12 powers?
Well, because with imagination, it allows me to imagine the other 11 powers. And as you said earlier, I use the word rumination, and I do ruminate, and I'm given to rumination. And when I ruminate on one of the other 12 powers, the imagination comes into play. It's just there. And I know we talked about, and when we teach the 12 powers, we talk about maybe not necessarily giving more weight to one than the other. But it comes back to me. When it comes back to me, I give more weight to that one than the others. And if you've read a lot of Fillmore, he says over and over, all is mind, and coming back to imagination. And mind, not the brain, but mind, and the power of imagination. And you talked about it can be used for positive or not so positive, because how often do I or any of us imagine negative things and get quite disturbed and worried about that? And how do we not do it? How do we turn that around? We imagine the opposite.
Yeah, well, the thing that I already mentioned, it's about not just learning these powers and their color and the disciple, which also happens to be Bartholomew, or the location, the physical location in the body, which happens to be right between the eyes, the third eye, as so many of us are aware of. It's about, it's not like we're studying these things for a 12 powers test. It's about how we can use them. And with what you just said about using it for good or evil, I don't think of evil as a power, but it is just the word that's coming to me today, because these powers can be misused. They can be misappropriated. And the thing is, we want to talk about how to use them, for how to develop them. I love that in one of the books, and I think it's Power Up. I think it's the Power Up book by Paul Hasselbeck and Cher Holton. They talk about how when you begin something, this is common sense, but we're here to just remember what we already know and to draw it forth, to educare from the Latin, to draw forth what we already know. It's about my mind just went to a whole other place, because I envisioned Paul Hasselbeck for a minute. But when we start any endeavor, anything, even when we have our skills and talents, we're not an expert. We're not proficient when we first start. We get this information, and so we know about our imagination, but how do we use it? I see it as training it like a puppy, because we are always using our imagination, right? It's like we're always using our faith. Where are we putting it? Are we simply daydreaming? Are we simply looking at the clouds? Or are we taking the next step of action of what we're guided to do with what we're imagining? So anyway.
Exactly. It's and I've often said ad nauseum that I think thinking is spiritual, and any endeavor that includes thinking, which is everything. I'm going to get up and walk over to my couch, on some level, I'm going to think about it before I do it, and it just follows suit. It is the imagination. I mean, if I talk about the other 12 powers, let's talk about love. Well, what do you imagine that to be? What do you imagine power to be? What do you imagine order, will, strength to be? And they will come into fruition. It's going to form in the mind, and the mind is more than the brain. The mind is non-local and huge, where the brain is this little organ that sits in all our heads, and yet it's the most mysterious thing in the universe is the human mind. The human brain,
Yes,
excuse me, and the mind beyond it. And
Yes.
I've looked up a couple of things. You asked me if I, as I'm wont to do, I have quotes. I looked up a couple. I looked up what Kahlil Gibran has to say about this, and I looked up what my buddy Al Einstein has to say about this.
Yeah.
And I might have the temerity to question Kahlil when he and I talk in my imagination. But would you like to hear what Kahlil says about imagination?
I would, because I'm very fond of Kahlil.
I am too. As I mentioned before, I think that everybody, if they don't have a copy of The Prophet, get a copy of The Prophet. Kahlil Gibran died in 1931, and he was a poet and a writer. And we think of him, I think of him as a philosopher, although I understand that he himself did not think of himself as a philosopher. But he wrote this. He wrote, "Imagination sees the complete reality. It is where past, present, and future meet. Imagination is limited neither to the reality which is apparent, nor to one place. It lives everywhere. It is at a center and feels the vibrations of all the circles within which East and West are virtually included. Imagination is the life of mental freedom. It realizes what everything is in its many aspects." Then he writes, "Imagination does not uplift. We don't want to be uplifted. We want to be more completely aware." Well, now, I want to be uplifted. So Khalil and I would have a discussion about this, but it has been my experience that imagination can indeed not only uplift, but keep you, as we sing about when we sing, high and lifted up.
Yes. And the polar opposite is true.
Yeah.
Because what we're talking about is coming from to get to that place, coming from the place of elevated consciousness with
Yeah.
these principles, because we
Yeah.
can use our imagination, as we all do, from what you were speaking of a minute ago, from our sense consciousness, automatic pilot. Even when you get to that stage of ego consciousness, that's where we get stuck so easily. We get in trouble. That's where the polar opposite of what you just shared is, when someone is a hypochondriac or always
Yeah.
worrying, creating the doom and gloom picture. That's our imagination is used for that. Worry. And worry is, what is that great quote I heard years ago? Worrying is like praying for what you don't want, continuing to put energy on that. So the polar opposite is true. So that was Khalil. I love what your good buddy Al likes to say about imagination.
Well, I just happen to have it here if you want to.
Oh, what?
Al.
and that wealth and that abundance, plethora of books behind you.
Yeah, that's those are just the books I've written.
Yes, I thought it was a green screen.
Yeah, no, it isn't. That's my real house back there. My real life. Imagination, he writes. Imagination is more important than knowledge.
Yes,
He writes, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress and giving birth to evolution. Now, I've read another quote that said that instead of the word embraces, he used the word encircles, but it either embraces or encircles. And I would even go further than that when I'm talking to Al and say, not only the world, but the universe, and maybe the multiverse. It goes on and on. It's limitless, which I find it utterly fascinating. Utterly fascinating.
And that's one of the things that Charles Fillmore said. He said to think that it is that we have limited imagination is, I'm paraphrasing him, but it's blasphemous. He said it's ridiculous. It is infinite. I don't think I heard you share this. There was one more thing that your buddy Al, that I read up on, that he said that, of course, that imagination is more important than knowledge. You just said that, but that it's limited to what we know and understand, and that imagination is the preview of coming attractions. Did you just share that?
No, but I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that too. I was listening to you, but I was looking for this because I love that. A lot of different truth teachers I've heard before refer to imagination as the scissors of the mind.
No.
And I like metaphors and analogies. You like ruminations and pontifications and you're quite the scholarly, well-read one. And I love metaphors. And there's a great metaphor that I was just referring to what Paul Hasselbeck and Cher Holton said in their book, that when we begin something, we're not good at it when we begin. We have to keep working it and using it. We have to train our imagination like a puppy. We have to keep training it to amp up our consciousness, our awareness about it. And you just said one way of doing that is when we go to I'm going to call it a negative place, to notice it and then bring it back, reframe that in a positive way. So the thing that I love about the scissors metaphor is if when somebody begins to make dresses, say there's a dressmaker, there's probably a lot of wasted material initially in the process of learning, and eventually it continues to grow. The skill continues to be honed and get better. It's like anything. It's, you don't sit down and play unless you're some prodigy from another lifetime. You don't sit down and play this magnificent piece on the piano when you first sit down. You work it and you learn it. And the analogy I really like about the scissors is same thing with a barber. When somebody first gives a haircut, well, I don't know. Some will give better haircuts than others when they're called to be a barber.
Yeah.
And but they get better and better at what they're doing. And that's what we do. We cut away using imagination. We're creating with those imaginary scissors of the mind. And I like that. I like the scissors thing. There's a go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh,
No,
no,
you
you go ahead.
you go.
All right, I will. I'm not digressing much, but I believe it was last Sunday that Simone Biles once again defied gravity and won her 7th national championship.
Mhm.
And I was reading about her this morning, as a matter of fact, and I knew that she had 1 or 2 moves that are named after her, but apparently there are about 4, because she is the only one who does them, and so far is the only one who can do them. And I wondered, well, how did this? She's 24. This young 24-year-old woman arrive at those moves. And first, of course, she would have to have imagined them. And they look to me like they defy gravity. I don't know how in the world, but first she would have to have imagined it and then worked it out. And then I wonder, and while I'm wondering, I think I know the answer. I think she does. I think when she's actually executing the maneuver, she can almost watch herself do it. And just, she's not looking at that everything's spinning if she's looking out of her eyes. But if she's now we're going Eckhart Tolle here. If she is watching, she's the observer observing her. That's just fascinating to me. And I was saying, I think it was last Sunday that she won that. And you mentioned the piano, and I read that Sondheim never composes sitting at a keyboard. He said because his hands will go into familiar patterns. So it's in the imagination. He hears it. It's got to come from the imagination, it would seem to me. And then he puts the hand to the keyboard. And that and musicians and actors that we've all done and participated in, and we talk about a performance that will come through us once we've mastered it, or a particular piece that the piano is in your hands. You don't have to think about it; it's just there. But it was born of imagination.
Everything begins with it. Everything begins with a thought.
Yeah.
Everything begins with, and I know as a former athlete from way back when, that it's kind of a built-in mechanism for athletes to envision the race or the routine or whatever it is. I was actually thinking in a parallel way about the French Open. It's just ending this weekend. And thinking of how records are broken and things continue to evolve and transform and go to new heights and new places. You can use any example in the world. Look at the first airplane to what's available now. But thinking about tennis, thinking back to when Chris Evert and Martina Navratilova and Jimmy Connors and John McEnroe, they were amazing at what they did, and then others came along and added things and took it to a new level until it became this power game where what these girls started doing, like what Serena Williams brought to the game after Monica Seles did, and then Steffi Graf, it continues to evolve. And that's how records continue to get broken. And Simone Biles continues to outdo herself and top herself and go to the next thing that is seemingly something humanly impossible for the human body to do. But there's an interesting thing in a book by Sharon Connors that I have called Adventures in Resilience. And, in Unity, we all often talk about thoughts held in mind, produce after their kind. Well, imagination is this language. It's this universal language of pictures, images. That's what imagination is. That's it. It really, if you think about it, it's always pictures. And she says that your imagination generates, for better or worse, the living pictures of your thoughts. Our main task in creating the kind of life that we want is to choose with careful, exquisite care and attention the pictures that occupy the canvas of our mind. And Leo, do you have that card that is my talk title today, along with the quote, "Just my imagination"? What does that conjure up?
Yeah.
I am the architect of my life, so why not create a masterpiece? This is giving careful attention to the pictures that occupy the canvas of our mind. So much like thoughts held in kind produce after their kind, pictures held in mind with matching emotions in our heart create after their kind. And mixed messages from mind and heart produce mixed results. I love this. Mixed emotions are truly negative potions. Thank God for grace.
Yeah.
So that we don't create everything we're thinking.
Yeah.
It's a process.
Or that other people can't hear everything we're thinking.
Yes. And so the imagination is just it's just infinite. The possibilities are infinite, and the power of the imagination is infinite. So what are other ways, when you think of imagination, what are other ways that you use or think of to use it, to intentionally, consciously work and use your imagination?
Well, first I go into the silence, and if I meditate on it and I think about it, I just think about it. And if there is a particular goal, a particular project coming up or something, or even today, coming and talking to you and talking to everybody, thinking about it and imagine it, visualizing. Mentioned visualization. Athletes use that all the time. I did when I was an athlete. And I think about it, and allow it to be. One of the precepts of unity is you'll know what to do and when to do it. So I wait until I know what to do. And then I ruminate on when to do it and how to do it. And how do we approach that, until things clarify, they become solid. And then they may dissipate a while, but then they will come back to solidity. And, I wonder, I start ruminating again. I wonder what Helen Keller's experience of imagination was.
Right.
Without visual or auditory clues, what is that experience? And I'm sure there was one. I'm sure there was an experience, and how we experience things. And then when I'm really ruminating, I see if I can just touch the transcendent. If I can do that once, even minimally, then it's possible. In 1903, when Wilbur and Orville got in that basically motorized box kite and took off a little bit, it was possible then to land on the moon. We just hadn't assembled the parts yet to do it. But 66 years later, we landed on the moon. You know, I
Yeah.
still think airplanes are impossible. I don't know how that thing flies through the air when I'm on it. I'm just
It's
putting.
amazing.
Then faith comes in. Then you have faith in whoever's up front.
Then we use our power of faith and we project it onto others.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
You look around to see if all these people are going to make it there safely, so I'm going to be with them when they get there.
You know, I love your ruminations and pontifications and by when you just mentioned Helen Keller and the moon, I had right before you said the moon, I was connecting the two of those, going, Helen Keller communicating, learning to communicate is to me up there with landing on the moon. It's remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable. And yeah, we know in Unity what to do and when to do it when we really give over to divine guidance.
Right, right.
We have to do that first. We have to really be in alignment with what is already present, what is already ready for us to notice it. It's the old thing that God doesn't go anywhere. We do.
Yeah.
We just keep going back to center. And
You
and
mentioned
here are a few. Go ahead.
You mentioned the Reverend Dr. Paul Hasselbeck a little minute ago. When I took a course with him, and he said in one of our meetings, he said, I don't pray anymore, which sounded odd to me. He said, I don't know. Every day I go into the silence, and which I equate with that. Well, that sounded to me like prayer, but he said, I don't really pray. I go into the silence. Well, I think that's what that is. Meditation and yet when he's doing live feeds, he is in fact praying, still does. He hasn't forgotten how, like riding a bicycle, but he looks at it from that standpoint. And as you said, wait for that guidance, wait for that small inner voice and recognize it. And then make sure that that's the right voice, because sometimes a couple will argue with each other and you're just the observer, and wait till they fight that out and then let you know where to go from here.
And to this day, one of my favorite affirmations continues to be, whenever I'm in a place of confusion and those things are simultaneously going on, it's like, which voice is that? If you are God, speak up. If you're not, shut up.
Yeah.
I am turning the channel from you. Yeah. It's like,
wonderful.
Here's a few things that Reverend Sharon Connors says, just ideas to practice imagination. Some of them are simple, and like anything else, try something on to see if it fits.
Yeah.
It may or may not resonate. But something as simple as wearing something light blue for 21 days with the intention of focusing your imagination on the good you seek. Now, blue is my favorite color. It cracks me up when I buy a new shirt. Like, oh my God, I'm buying another blue shirt. I try to get away from blue shirts and I keep gravitating back to blue. And so this was in front of a blue wall. So this is perfect for me that, imagination would be really my favorite power. Another way is to memorize affirmations or just write them out and keep them on you. Keep them in your pocket, bring them out. And as John said a few minutes ago, to replace negative thoughts when they come up. Because it starts with noticing. You got to notice the negativity. You got to notice when you're in the groove of doom and gloom and worry because that worry leads to more worry, and you can get off that treadmill of worry. And one that's a popular tool is to create a vision board. Again, images, pictures, or words of what your heart's desire is, and put it where you'll see it each day. The people I know that really do this, their lives are so inspiring. The people I know that do these vision boards,
Yeah.
it works for them. It works for them, and it's very inspiring to see to just look at their lives and how they are. But it's a consciousness conditioner, the vision board, and it impacts your imagination with its depiction of your heart's desires. So I guess with that, you need to really notice what your heart's desires are. I have so much information here that are just, oh my God. It's kind of like the line that Leo just showed us on that card. It's like, I am the architect of my life. Yes. And why not create a masterpiece? Your imagination is a divine dream catcher and architect.
Exactly.
And yeah. So we've kind of come out of, John, I don't know if you're able to, but would you join me again next Saturday? It's time for the quarterly 12 Powers workshop, where we'll talk about imagination and power from last month and love from April. We'll dive deeper into some tools for how to navigate and do that together next Saturday morning from 10:30 to noon. Are you able to join for that?
I'm able. I'll be there. I'm joining you a lot. Did everybody realize that, in our Wednesday morning community connections hour, it's you and me, or it's you or me, and sometimes it's you and me. So
yes.
I see you a lot, and I'm grateful for that.
I am grateful for that too, and I so appreciate you and just everything that you do, everything that you are. I don't say that lightly, and I'm just so glad you're here today.
Thank you, Ruben.
Giving your insights, and thank you for being my Ed McMahon on Wednesdays. And knowing that I can. I'm always in good hands with Sir John Canary, professional pontificator and ruminator.
And my pleasure. Thank you very much. It's been wonderful. I'm noticing as I look at you on the screen, and your favorite color is blue. You're surrounded by it. That the painting behind you, and the shirt, and the jacket, and I've got some blue over my shoulder here. You see the face of one of my polar bears, and he's got a blue background on the bookcase back there. Blue and light green, light blue and light green are my favorite colors.
Well, that is really, really cool. And I love the sky, and I love, one more thing. And then I'm going to take us into a meditation, a little imagination meditation. Okay. But there's this really cool tile in my shower that it's very abstract. It's got spots and things all over it. It's not blue. It's tan and brown and gray and black. And while I'm taking a shower, I'm always noticing the different things that I see. I see faces, I see figures, I see sometimes scenes of things looking in that. So I know that's one way that I'm always keeping my imagination active. I get to create this experience every Sunday, and that's a constant use of my imagination. To get the download, yes, knowing what to do, and then how to do it, and when to do it, and to go. So
it's always interesting, and it's interesting to see how it downloads. When you're minding your own business, and boom, it's downloaded all. It drops in there, and it gets you. I would imagine. So as I said, I would imagine sometime.
I would imagine. There's that word again, just like John Lennon. So
that's right.
Thank you, wise one.
Thank you.
And
my pleasure.
And I'll see you like this before next Sunday, but I'm going to see you live in the flesh next Sunday.
That's
with
right.
Paula, the offstage character.
That's right. She's coming. She'll be on stage.
Thank you for all that you added today. So grateful. Oh my goodness. Let's take a breath. That's interesting what John just shared about Paul Hasselbeck saying, I no longer even pray. What is prayer but communing with God? And what is meditation but being still? So let's take this opportunity to take in a breath. Take in a full, deep breath into your entire body. And as you do, feel yourself relaxing. You can either look at the beautiful image. There's that blue sky right in front of us. Butterflies that were once caterpillars. Flowers that in the winter were not yet flowers expressing in their fullness. And you can always, of course, close your eyes and continue to take in another deep, long breath. And let this robust breath fill your entire being. Just imagine you're breathing in shimmering white light from the infinite resources of the universe. And breathe this white light through your whole entire being, clearing and blessing the blank canvas of your mind for an energizing vision of good. Don't force it, just allow the pictures and images to emerge. And in your mind's eye, in that place of imagination, right between your eyes, envision a sparkling light blue light. This is the light of imagination, right behind and in the middle of your physical eyes. And watch this beautiful sky blue light begin to expand to fill you with its shimmering radiance. And breathe in this brilliant, iridescent blue light into every cell and every atom of your being. And now into your creative power of divine imagination, place a desire of your heart. Again, simply allow it. Just place a desire of your heart into this place of divine imagination. And watch your desire take form. Picture it as clearly and in as much detail as you can. Smile into it. Love this picture. Thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit, for the revelation of this picture that has now been shown on the blank canvas of my mind. And now give thanks that this awesome picture of your heart's desire is out picturing in your life. Stay open and aware as you watch for clues as to the right next steps. And now release all the veils that block your clear view of the exciting, infinite possibilities for relationships, career, health, finances, and creative expression. You are now set free upon the path to fulfill the divine visions that live in you, that await your permission to come forth. And now seeing this brilliant, beautiful blue light that you have infused into every cell, every atom of your being, we step into the stillness of the silence.
There is no life I know that compares with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be.
And so it is. Thank you again, John Canary. And now is the opportunity we have to share our good, to share our treasure with our love offering, our sacred exchange, our exchange of loving energy. And I always appreciate when Leo is willing to come in and remind us of the easy ways, even virtually, it is to give back to ourselves in this spiritual home, this community that is ours, called Unity of New York.
Thank you. You can text the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to 718-313-3674. You can mail a check to 225 West 99th Street. That's our office, New York, 10025. You can go to our website, unityofnewyork.org, and click the Donate tab at the top of the page. Or you can go to PayPal and type in paypal.me/unityny. And it's that easy to give back to your spiritual home. Great.
And as we exercise this ritual, take part in this ritual together every week, every time we are together, we know our offertory affirmation that divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. And every week, even though we're not singing it together right now, we remember at the end of the service another ritual that we have is to end our services with "Let there be peace on earth." And as we sing those words, we know that it begins with us. And if we want peace, we first have to imagine it. John Lennon once said about his song Imagine, "If you can imagine a world at peace with no denominations of religion, not without religion, but without this, my God is bigger than your God thing, then it can be true." I had never heard that before. I love doing research and looking things up. Google is my friend. So this idea of conceptualizing a better world, to literally imagine what it would be like, is the first step to taking action. John Lennon's wife, Yoko Ono, said in the aftermath of 9/11, and she was instrumental in the song Imagine. She said, imagining, that's something we can all do, even when we have different opinions about how to get there. As I said earlier, you cannot hold another in darkness and hold yourself in the light. We are one. So let's imagine.
Imagine we're in heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, and above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today.
Imagine there's no country. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace.
You may say I'm not a dreamer, but I'm not the only one.
I know someday they will join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if we can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people
living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. No, no.
I know someday they'll all join us, and the world will be as one.
We'll be as
one. Imagine no possession.
Imagine no possession.
I wonder if you can.
We are one.
Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Spiritus. Let us take this experience into prayer, into, as Sarah said, the bedrock of unity of New York. We enter into that space of oneness with God, with each other, and we know together the prayer that we have continued to know for many months now. As we call upon God's love in this important moment, knowing that divine love is the greatest power in the universe, we pray for the wounded heart of humanity as we grieve, rage, cry, and despair over injustice and inequity. May divine love enfold and comfort everyone who is hurting, and may divine wisdom guide each person and each institution in taking inspired action to ensure that all are celebrated for their inherent goodness as a part of God's creation. May we remain resolute in walking the course of human rights and social justice for all. We pray in the spirit of unity, love, and oneness. And we always know our prayer for protection before we go forward on our way, that the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and so it is. What are the visions that excite your heart today? At their very core, they are God-given. You are the architect of your life, so keep creating the masterpiece that you are, because you are awesome, and leave a heartprint wherever you go this week in the process. Stay blessed. Namaste.
There is no life I know that compares with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be.
Christ.